Geography is a fascinating discipline because it is a study of place. When they study economic development in a place, we could study urban processes in a place.
Geography is about seeing that which is readily visible to the human eye, but also that which cannot be seen except through the use of maps and other technologies.
Well, in terms of the Geography Map Library, geography is simply maps.
Geography is the knowledge about human habitats, simple like that. Our program is special because we have excellent faculty, talented and devoted staff, flexible program, and state-of-art facilities.
Well, the Geography Department's map library has a collection of about 300,000 maps. The map library here is probably the largest in the CSU system, a third of which is basically from the United States Geological Survey depository that we have. Another third is from the general collection of maps that we have from around the world. And the other third is from the Sanborn fire insurance maps that we have. They go back to the late 1800s, and they progress from that period all the way up to the late 1950s and early 1960s. They're important because they show old buildings, and so you can see the development of land use evolution over that period of time. It is one of the largest collections on the West Coast.
This is the Earth Science Physical Geography Laboratory. Its purpose is to fulfill our obligation for training teachers in the earth sciences, and this means future teachers K through 12. When we decided to invest in this laboratory, we thought that it was essential that we have state-of-the-art equipment, that future teachers should be armed to the teeth with instruments that will lead them and their students into the future. As such, we invested close to $130,000 in instrumentation. The computers in here are really exciting because these are Macintosh PC-based instruments. There are 24 workstations, and with each of these, there's direct access to the internet. It means that if we ask them to examine a hurricane which is impacting the coast, they can do it in real time, and they can map this so they can better understand it and prepare materials for their own students.
A couple of years ago, the convergence of my interests in California geography, mapping, digital systems, was transformed into the development of what I call the California Geographical Survey. Currently, the total number of images is approximately 1,500 maps. They're all in color, they're fairly large, quite detailed, and if downloaded, you can make wall maps out of them. Governor Jerry Brown's cabinet determined in the 1970s that it might be interesting to explore the notion of map-making in the state in a rather different, non-technical vein that had been done by government agencies. And out of that came the idea to do an atlas on California. I was involved in the early planning of it, and as a result of our wonderful facilities, the talented people here, CSUN became the home for the project. We had the facilities, we had the people, and we could do the job. The faculty as a whole is pretty strong, but within that there are some real stars, and two of them that come to mind immediately are Jim Allen and Gene Turner. Beginning some time back in the late 70s and early 80s, they became involved in the whole issue of migration, ethnicity, and settlement in the United States. Their first major project culminated in the book We the People, which is one of the most honored reference books of the late 1980s.
Well, in 1979, Jim asked me if I might be interested in working on an atlas or an ethnic atlas of the United States, and it sounded to me like a good idea. There was going to be some new data on ancestry in the census, and so it would give us an opportunity to look into ethnic patterns as people had not been able to before. Well, We the People was a first attempt to look at the diversity of ethnic groups across the entire United States, particularly to look at the breakdown of the white groups who've been here for a long time and perhaps haven't received the attention that many other groups have.
The ethnic quilt looks at the structure of Southern California's population in terms of three dimensions: the ethnic dimension, the social class dimension, and the geographical dimension, where people are located. And we attempt to pull these together through history to show Southern Californians and the rest of the country who our people are.
Well, the response to the ethnic quilt has also been very positive. Jim and I had received the Scholarly Publication Award from the university, and it's also received a number of very positive reviews in the press as well. What surprised us and has made us happy is it's been used as a textbook in a number of campuses, not only in Southern California, but at places like Arizona State. And it's been used by a number of disciplines outside of geography as well.
One of the ties that the department has with the external community is this contract that I've got with the U.S. Navy, with their Natural Resources Office on San Clemente Island to provide weather data for the restoration of the native vegetation on the island. So we're now up to about $230,000 total over the last 7 or 8 years. And it's also meant that we've had a whole series of students that have been involved with doing the project, going out to the island, maintaining the weather stations, fixing the equipment. So they're dealing really with some of the latest equipment, latest software. It's not unusual for this kind of thing to be going on in a geography department, but probably this department has a bigger role in looking at weather and climate and dealing with the climatic data and in weather instrumentation than any other in the state that I can think of right offhand.
The core of the university is its curriculum and its people. And the geography department is blessed to have some extremely talented technical support personnel. David Fuller is a world-class cartographer. He's a specialist in information graphics and has done wonderful work for about 25 years with us. Bob Proven is, oddly enough, one of the world's most renowned astrophotographers and has co-authored a book in astrophotography published by Cambridge University Press. And when you have people like this on your side, you have opportunities for students that are not attainable if it's strictly faculty.
I came here in July of 1994 after the Northridge earthquake to help reestablish the campus and geography department's weather station. The station lost its National Weather Service cooperative status, and I specifically came here to reestablish the station and get its cooperative status maintained again. One of the strengths of the department is the work of the staff. The university has recognized that. In 1997, I received the Staff Member of the Year award for my work in restoring the weather station to its pre-earthquake stature.
We have long association with university in China. Over the years, we have continuous interaction, and we hosted 2 international conferences on human geography in Xi'an, China. We are going to host the 3rd international conference in the year 2001 at Northridge. We are in the process of developing a joint MA program with the Institute of Human Geography, Xi'an Foreign Language University.
Well, it's very unusual to be a geographer dealing with the Balkans. It's such an essential part of the world and so important in terms of the magnitude of the conflicts going on. But in this country, there's only a handful of geographers who specialize in that region. My own research dovetails well with my teaching because I teach a course in the geography of Europe, and I'm able to bring firsthand knowledge of the region to my teaching. My history with the department is long. I came here as an undergraduate, got my BA here, my Master's of Arts in the department, and then I was very fortunate to be able to come back here and to teach full-time. I think Cal State Northridge is an excellent university. I think the department is extremely strong, and I feel very privileged to have the opportunity to teach here.
Geography has been a foundation for many of our students going on into careers. We've had students now working in large drug companies, as marketing executives, newspapers, banks, as they started their own companies. Most recently, many of our students have gone on to become senior analysts in large corporations and making fairly good money at this. And of course, what they've all done is use geography as a base, but after 2 or 3 years into their career, they begin to branch out into other areas. So geography is not a field that sort of limits you in you're doing one thing. You're just not a map maker. And essentially use maps to promote your career inside the company is what they've been doing. It's always struck me that geography can be very much applied. So on the one hand, I'm a historical geographer. On the other hand, my teaching and everything that I do for my students is all very much applied in saying, how can I help you leave the university with a good, solid education and get a career? I'm not interested in getting students jobs. I'm interested in providing them a basis from which they can have careers.
Coming here to this large school, I noticed that every time I was in Sierra Hall, where the geography department was housed, there's always students hanging around talking, but what I realized is the sense of energy that they've all been together in the field, whether it be on field trips or doing experiments, and that they're learning together.
For somebody like me who just loves books and has had so many varied interests over the years, geography is an excellent place to land because it allows you to spread out literally everywhere.
I came to Cal State Northridge after seeing Dr. Allen and Dr. Turner discuss their book, The Ethnic Quilt, on Channel 9 over the summer, and I hadn't made my decision yet, and I said, that's where I want to go. I want to be a part of that.
The way I ended up coming to Cal State Northridge was I had heard a lecture by Dr. Bowen at Pierce College, and he was so dynamic and poetic, and I thought, oh my God, if they're all like that, that's the place for me.
I entered CSUN in the fall of 1997, taking my master's degree in geography, and spent 2 years working on my coursework. Now I'm working towards my thesis in urban and retail geography. And I also had been learning about the internet and playing around and making some websites, and found out about About.com and applied to be their geography guide. And then at the beginning of 1998, I was contacted by the publisher just out of the blue to ask me to write the Handy Geography Answer Book, because the publisher has a series of handy answer books, and they were looking for someone to do the geography book. It's about 400 pages long and includes 1,000 questions and answers about geography. Being in geography, you hear about the best departments, and I wanted to stay in California, and I knew that by coming to CSUN, I could specialize in just about anything because there are faculty with every interest.
Well, in the 2 years that I've been here, the experience has been outstanding. All the faculty is always available. They're all nice. There's been times like my professor isn't available, but I'll ask another professor, and they know they can answer my questions. They know what I need. And overall, I say the department's great.
The very best part of being in this department is that no matter what I've thought to do, some research on, I've found a professor or a class and a professor who has encouraged that sort of research.
What's fulfilling for me is not any one experience. It would be the whole experience of studying the different aspects of geography.
I view geography as the bridge between the social and physical sciences in trying to look at the things that make the world around us the way it is and tie the different threads together so that it's both human activities, physical processes, how they interact, how they feed back on each other. And as far as I'm concerned, sitting on that kind of link between the two broad areas is what makes geography both unique and exciting.